Hello, I'm going to go over the NutrEval test kit instructions with you today. You probably picked up a kit here at the clinic or one was mailed to you. Either way, it's a pretty simple test. You need to do a urine collection, and for those of you doing the genetic add-on, you will have a swab to do as well prior to coming in for your fasting lab draw in the clinic that morning. So if you unpack your stuff, you'll see that you have a nice little sterile urine container. You do not need a sterile container for this test, so if you lose this or you need something else, you can use a styrofoam cup or a plastic cup. As long as it's clean, it doesn't really matter. You get a nice little bag with 3 test tubes, a pipette, and then there are sets of labels inside the bag. In addition to that, if you're doing the genetics portion, you will get the genetics bag, which has the swabs and an envelope. The day before this test, you should be restricting your fluid intake to no more than 64 ounces of fluid. Try to make sure that the bulk of that fluid is consumed in the first part of the day. Once you get to 6 o'clock in the evening, you should be keeping it to 8 ounces of fluid or less. Also want to make sure that you avoid any products with MSG or artificial sweeteners for at least 24 hours prior to doing this test. This is a fasting lab in all respects, so you need to have 8 hours of fasting prior to when you think you're going to collect your urine the next morning. So if you think you're going to wake up at 6 o'clock and take your urine collection then, count back 8 hours, fast that long. You will remain fasting once you have completed the urine sample until you have done the blood sample. The thing to remember about this is the fluid intake restriction ends as soon as you collect the urine sample, so you can drink as much water as you want prior to coming in for the blood draw once you've collected the urine. Other thing to remember is while you're drinking the water, don't add anything to it. Just drink water. Okay. So the morning of, you're going to have a couple things to do before you come in. The night before, when you get ready for bed, brush your teeth like normal, but if you're doing the genetic swab, don't use any mouthwash. That morning that you're going to come in for the test, as far as the components that you need to bring with you, it's usually easiest to start with the genetic swab. So if you're doing this part of the test, pretty easy to do. You wake up, nothing in your mouth at all. You're simply going to open up the package. There are 2 nice little swabs in here. Each one of these swabs, 30 seconds in your mouth between your gum and your cheek, roll it around, take them out, lay them on top of the paper, let them dry for 15 to 20 minutes, put them back in the paper, fold it over, goes in the envelope. The envelope gets sealed, write your name, date, and time that you collected it on the envelope. All those instructions are also on the sheet that you will be given, but that's all you do for the genetics portion. The urine portion is first morning void, so you're going to want to collect the first thing you can right away in the morning. You don't need very much, about half of this will do it. Once you've collected, you're simply going to use the pipette and transfer the urine into all 3 of these tubes. Get them as full as you can, cap them nice and tight, find the labels in the bag, fill out your name, the date, and the time, 1 label on each tube. The tubes go back in the bag. The bag goes in the freezer until you're ready to come in. Now your urine very likely will not freeze completely before you come in. That's okay. Go ahead and take the bag and throw it in a cooler with some ice if you can for the trip in. That will help keep the sample as cold as possible. When you get here, Sharon will throw it in the freezer, draw your blood. Once your blood is drawn, you are free to eat. That is really it for this sample. If you have any questions, please go ahead and email or call.